Welcome to the Daily Bread Podcast, where we talk faith, finances, and the foundation of building real wealth. Your host is Aaron Smith, who is your financial design coach, and is bringing you strategies that feed both your pockets and your purpose. Now listen, this podcast is for educational purposes only. Aaron is not providing legal, tax, or investment advice. Always consult with a qualified professional for your specific financial situation. That said, let's get into the real talk, because money is more than money. It's personal.
This right here is a manual. And this manual belongs to an automobile. Within this manual, it allows you to be able to determine what you need to do to have true instructions on how to operate the vehicle. Unfortunately, money doesn't come with any type of instructions. Here's your instruction manual here for the automobile, but there is no manual for your money. So let's talk about it for just a second here. This is important as you're starting to think about building wealth. As you're building wealth and you're thinking of investing and planning for the future, it's important that you make some clarity or have some clarity on what you're trying to accomplish. So that's technically what we call a roadmap that you need to live by. Not an instruction manual, but a roadmap. And the reason why the roadmap is important is because every single one of us are different when it comes to our finances. We generally have different incomes. We have different salaries. We have different risk levels. We have different concerns about our finances. Some of us are individual. We don't have partners. Some of us are married. It makes a difference. Some of us are in a different tax bracket. So it's different when you talk about money. That's why it doesn't come with instructions. However, we're going to give you as close as we can an instruction manual to handle your finances. So first of all, when you're thinking about planning for your future, you have to be able to identify what your goals are. And some of us have only one goal. Many of us have many goals. The goals allow us to determine what we need to do to get to where we want to go in the time that we want to get there. So let's talk about goals for 1 second. The goals that you want to accomplish, first of all, I would ask that you always have something to write with or something to write on as you're preparing your goals. You may have a goal to go on vacation next year. That's a goal. A goal might be retirement. It might be paying for a wedding. It might be financing your child's education. These are all what we call financial goals. So first of all, as you're starting to think about organizing your finances and creating a strategy, you have to identify your goals from most important to least important. So let's kind of give you an example. I have a goal. The first thing I want to understand about that goal is what's the length of time before I reach that goal? What date in the future that I want to meet that goal? The second thing I want to know is how much does that goal cost me? What is the cost to get to the goal? What is the length of time for the goal? And then thirdly, what is the goal? What I'm trying to accomplish. So as you have many goals, you can see here, this document right here is just a blueprint that responds to the goals that you're trying to accomplish. For example, this client right here wants to go on vacation in 2027. That's what they want to do at age 58. That's important to note that at age 58, she wants to go to Mexico. But of course, that goal costs something. What is the cost for her to go to establish that goal? Well, that cost may be, let's say, $4,500 for her to reach this goal. So she has to create a plan or a strategy that's going to allow her to reach that $4,500 or $4,300 number to establish her goal. How is she going to pay for it? Is she going to pay cash for it? Or is she going to finance it on a credit card? Well, I always recommend pay cash for it. So as you're creating your plans, what you're doing is you're creating that around your lifestyle, around the income that you're receiving in your home. Here's another goal. She has a second goal. That second goal is at age 59, 2028. She wants to purchase a new car. There are certain ways to purchase a car. You can finance it or you can pay cash for it. Put that on the side for just a moment. The goal still is that she wants to purchase an automobile. So there needs to be some type of affordability around purchasing this automobile, whether it's cash or whether she finances it. But it's still a goal that she's trying to accomplish. Once again, important as you're organizing your finances, it's important before you start thinking about investing and planning financially is that you list your goals. Here's another goal that she has at age 65. She wants to retire. She may want $10,000 a month in income when she retires. What does she need to do to reach that goal? But once again, it's a goal. And finally, she may have another goal to basically create a legacy. She might want to create a legacy to her family at age 90, assuming that she lives to age 90. Well, once again, that goal is age 90. What is it? Legacy, 2059. And her goal is to leave $1 million to her children. That's a goal that she wants to accomplish. So as we talk about strategic planning, we don't have an instruction manual when it comes to our finances. What we do have is the ability to list what each one of our goals are, from the most important goal being number 1 to the least important goal being number whatever, how many goals that you have. Now, you have established your goals. You got those goals on paper. Now you want to organize the goals. You have to organize your finances. Let me show you how. Let me show you how. The first thing that has to happen before you can ever be successful financially, successful. How do you define successful? Successful is being able to reach your financial goals the most efficient, most tax efficient, most efficient way that you can get there and allow you to live the lifestyle that you desire to live. And that's different for everyone. Efficiency is where you want to be. So you've now identified each one of the goals that are important to you. Now you need to identify what assets you own. I want you to think about it right now. What do you own? Truly, what do you own? Do you have it written down? Do you have it on paper? Or is it in your head? Think about that for a moment. Everything that you own, is it in your head or is it on paper? If it's on paper, is it organized? Here's the key to getting where you want to go financially. First, you have to organize. So in order to organize, you have to get your financial statements. Let me kind of give you an example. Bank and investments. All of us have a bank account. Likely. So in order for you to start organizing financially, you have to get a copy of your statement. You have to get a copy of your retirement account, your 401k, your IRAs. You have to get copies of these statements. You got to get copies of any type of liabilities that you have, any credit cards, personal loans, student loans, anything that you have that is a debt that you own. You have to get a copy of the statement. You have to get a copy of your insurances, your automobile, your homeowners, any type of medical coverage insurance you have. You have to get those documents so that you're now able to put those in a place that you can organize. If you're trying to reach a financial goal, as we just talked about, and you don't have your financial documents or your data, it's almost impossible to reach those financial goals. So you want to make sure that you have the documents. Once you have the documents, you want to put them in some type of organization. You want to put them in organization. Just to kind of give you an example, with this individual here, they have a bank account. It's in green. Everything over here in green, right here, is the assets. These are the assets. But the only way that you can get those assets, once again, is that you have to create or get your documents. So this is all the assets here in green. Here is blue. Everything in blue is what we call your stocks or your real estate, right here in blue. In order to get where you want to go financially, you have to create a plan. You got to have a strategy. If your plan or your strategy is not put in place, then how are you going to get there? You know, I've always used the analogy. If you want to, I'm out of Virginia here in Richmond, actually. I'm in Richmond, Virginia. And if I wanted to get to LA, Los Angeles, I have to decide on when I want to go, what day I want to leave. I have to determine how much it's going to cost me to get there. And most important, I have to determine what type of vehicle am I going to use to get there. Am I going to take the train? Am I going to take a plane? Am I going to take a boat? What vehicle am I going to use to get there? But in order to determine the vehicle that's important for me to reach my financial goals, I first have to be able to identify all of my assets. So in the red, you got liabilities. You got liabilities. These liabilities are debts that you own. Once again, over here, you have assets, invested assets. Over here, you have real estate, any type of real estate that you own. And to be specific, that real estate has to be values of that real estate. Once again, values of your investments, but you also have to have your liabilities. What do you owe on your real estate? You need that statement. What do you owe on your automobile? You have to have that statement. What do you owe on your student loans? You have to have that statement. You want to have these statements here, and you want to create an organization. And then finally, in the light green or blue, you want to make sure that you are able to list all of the insurances that you own. So now you have been able to identify your goals, all of your financial goals that you want to accomplish. Second, you've been able to create all the data that's necessary. All this data. These are all the data that you, or everything that you own. Now what you want to do is determine what your net worth is. How do you determine your net worth? Take the total amount of assets you have. In the green, these are your assets. In the blue, these are your assets. In the red, these are your liabilities. Not only are you going to get a clear calculation of your net worth, you're going to also get a clear understanding of all your income that comes into your household. That income could be just basic salary. It could be commissions. It could be business income. Whatever that income is coming into your household. It could be Social Security. It could be a pension. You want to add all that income up. Income is going to help you create what you need to start making sure that you organize to reach the goals that you're trying to accomplish. So you have your income and you have your total assets. And what that allows you to do is to create what we call a written document or written plan to get to all the goals that you're trying to accomplish. Let's be clear. You may have multiple goals. You may not be able to reach all goals based on your resources. Many of us don't have unlimited resources, but we do have enough resources to reach the most important goals that we're trying to accomplish. So the most important goal, number one, you're going to label it. And when you label that goal number one, we're going to try to reach that goal first from the finances that you have in your plan. Then we're going to try to reach goal number 2, 3, and so on. Here's the deal. As I stated before, money does not come with instructions. It truly doesn't. We all are different people. We have different goals. We have different risk levels. We have different attitudes about wealth. Some of us are single. Some of us are married. Some of us have high income. Some of us have lower income. We're all different. And once again, we all have different goals. In order to accomplish the goals that you're trying to accomplish in your life financially, you must absolutely create a plan. And the first step to creating that plan is that you've got to be organized. And how do you get organized? Is that you have to indicate what your goals are. The day you want to start the goal, the day you want to reach the goal, and the amount it's going to cost you to reach that goal. And then you want to collect what? The data. All the data that you own. All of your statements. And you want to take those statements and you want to create and put those in a strategy so that you can visually see what you have. By visually seeing what you have is going to allow you to be more comfortable and understand more about your personal finances. And once you have those goals and once you have those assets identified, it's going to put you in a better place to reach your personal goals. Now, let me say this. When you're organizing, you're not only organizing your finances, your data, your goals, but you're also organizing your risk tolerance or your risk level, your tax efficiency, whether your investments are tax deferred, tax free, or whether they're taxable. You're trying to determine how you're going to organize all this. And many times it can become complicated. So I'm going to dig in as I go forward in the future. I'm going to start kind of creating some ideas around how you understand all the technicalities of building out a plan to help you reach your goals. And once you're able to establish this strategic plan for you, I want you to also understand there always got to be adjustments. There's always got to be monitoring. And we're going to show you how to execute that as well. I am a fiduciary advisor wealth coach, and I'm always excited about sharing ideas and strategies with individuals to help them reach the financial goals that are important to them. However, what I have recognized in my 34 years of doing this is that many people don't know what they have, don't know how to organize it, have not identified their personal financial goals. And because of that, they're not truly efficient in their personal finances. We want you to be efficient. We see you soon.